Hello and welcome to Sonnia's Spotlight, where I shine a light on people, places, and things you ought to know. I'm your host, Sonnia, and today we have the founder of Deliciously Vegan SF, Hilary Knight Parker. Hilary, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited that you're here today.
Thank you, Sonnia. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hilary, for those who don't know, could you please introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you're located, and what you do.
Okay, my name is Hilary Knight Parker, as you mentioned, and I have a vegan baking business called Deliciously Vegan SF in San Francisco, the beautiful city of San Francisco. And how I started was when my daughter and I first went vegan, we had a lot, the thing that really surprised me the most, I would say, was the negative comments that we would get. And people had such strong opinions, but negative opinions. And I just thought, if I can create something that's not scary, like not a piece of cardboard or what people think vegan food is, like I won't serve you a big block of tofu and with a knife and fork. But if I could create, like something that everyone would love, then maybe the next time they're introduced to some type of vegan food, they'll be like, hey, that cupcake was really good. I'll be happy to try this dish. And that's really how it started. And I started baking cupcakes. I would take my cupcakes everywhere with me. I would take them to family events, friends, anything. I would take them to the bank, to doctor's office, like when I would go to the dentist. And I was just always carrying my cupcakes around. And I got to be friends with Kenny and Raina of Nick's on Grand. And when they opened Nick's on Grand, they asked me, which was just such an honor, if I wanted to sell my cupcakes in the restaurant. And that's really when it started taking off, because I was able to have my cupcakes accessible to so many people. And I started with selling 1 dozen a week there. And then right before the shelter in place, I was up to 10 dozen a week. And we would sell out. And so it's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, I mean, I order from you almost every week.
Yes, you do.
And I can attest that all of your cupcakes are so delicious. I mean, and even your brownies that you make, right? Your brownies, your cookies. Oh my gosh, they're just so delicious.
Yeah, I sometimes I get an idea for a recipe, like, oh, not just a brownie, but like I want to elevate it, or so I get an idea for a cookie. And so I think like, oh, if I have them around here, then we'll just eat them. So that's when I package them up, and I just give a little bonus to the cupcake orders.
Yeah.
And eat back. And so it's fun. That creativity part is what's really fun, coming up with new flavors, coming up with new, like, and like seeing something else that's not vegan, but thinking like, okay, how can I veganize this and make it really good? Yeah. So that's where the fun part is for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. And for those who don't know Nick's on Grand, they are a phenomenal Filipino vegan restaurant in South City. Mm-hmm. You guys have got to try it. And when I first went there, I actually took a picture at the bar and I was like, oh, what pretty cupcakes these are. And we hadn't met yet, you and I. And so I think it's funny that it's like, oh, my first picture there at Nick's was of your cupcakes. But yeah, so tell us about your vegan journey. So you mentioned Paris. So Paris is your daughter. Tell us about your vegan journey. How did it all start and everything? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm a flight attendant with Delta. I've been a flight attendant for 32 plus years. And I would say probably about 6 years ago, I was kind of making the connection. So I've always had friends who are vegetarian, vegan, and, I never thought any of the negative stuff. That's why I guess I was so shocked when it was turned on us. But I just thought when I'm with them, it's like, I love vegetables, I love fruit, I love greens, I love, whatever. I'll find something on the menu to order. So just hanging out with some of my friends. Also, there were some diseased meat recalls that were kind of weird, and then just how much I've always loved animals. And so, you know, some people, they watch like a movie that really resonates, and after that it's like, I didn't even need to watch anything. I find that so heartbreaking that just the thought of it is enough to convince me. Mm-hmm. And so my daughter was probably 12 at the time, and I told her that that I'm doing this for me. I've made the decision. I'm not going to be buying any meat, cooking any meat, eating any meat, but you, so there won't be any meat in the house, meat products, but you can eat what you want. You know, like when we would go out a lot too. And I wanted it to be her decision for herself if she came to that, but of course I hoped. And it probably took her about 3 months, and she had a piece of pizza at a birthday party and it upset her stomach. And so when she came home, she was like, I don't want to eat meat anymore. Yeah. And then probably a year later, we were at a veg fest where I'm sure you've heard of her, Genesis Butler. She's I think she's 12 now. She spoke, and my daughter was like, can we go see Genesis Butler speak? She became an animal activist when she was 6, and she's the grand niece of Cesar Chavez, which do you know who she is?
Yeah.
She's amazing. And so at that veg fest, which I knew it was just a matter of time to go vegan, because the dairy industry is incredibly cruel. And so we just looked at each other. We're like, want to go vegan? Yes, I do. And that was it. So there's a comedian named Julio Torres who is a vegan, and he starts off some of his routines with, you know, people ask me all the time, what do you miss most about being vegan? What is the one thing that, you know, you miss so much? And he says, my friends and family. Which, you know, in the beginning was kind of true. Like, it was hard. It was like really interesting how many people took it so personally. Yeah. Like me making this change for the better for myself. Right. It just, they couldn't deal with it. And it was just really, there were times that were really uncomfortable. And so anyway, that's how it started. And now I find that, you know, I try my best to share the food, share my passion, share the information that I've learned. Yeah. And I try to be what makes people comfortable, because, you know, you don't want to be, there's a fine line between like becoming that preachy vegan. Right. But, you know, I just want to say to people who have a vegan friend or family member, be kind to them, because it is hard when you know all this, you know, and you're trying to still be, make other people feel comfortable, but it's really difficult to like reel it in sometimes, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that, because it's like people go on different types of fad diets all the time. And, you know, they don't lose friends over it, or they don't, you know, have family members that give them, you know, flack over it. But when you become vegan, you start to notice that people start to pull away from you, like as if they don't have anything else in common with you anymore. And then it's just, and that's why I like to spotlight the delicious food, like the cupcake that you make, right? And so like, and the food, the Filipino food that Nick makes, right, is that to show them that, hey, you know, we can have those regular foods, but plant-based. And it's, you know, 2 parts, right? It's one, it's for your health because you're eating a lot more plants, and 2, it's for the animals, really, right?
And the planet, and healing the planet. We've done so much destruction, and we've really gotten to the point where it's really a desperate time. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that is a huge part. And so we have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And it all, to me, I think of it as a win-win. It's like win for your health, for the animals, for the planet. Like it's all good. And you know what the interesting thing is? I was thinking about this. People that you know that are vegan, I have not met one person who says, I regret being vegan. The only thing they regret is they didn't do it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just want everyone, I always say there's two kinds of people, vegans and future vegans. They just need to, like, you know, have that connection, make that connection where it makes sense to them. And like you were saying, there's a lot of cultures that are very meat heavy. And it's like the thought is like your childhood, or your cooking with your mom, or family get together. So it's very, food can be very personal. And it's not that you want to take any of those good feelings away. It's that you want to improve on them. You want to do everything with more compassion and make those better choices. And so, you know, and some people are just really resistant to that. So we just have to keep, you know, leading by example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We could go on. I mean, this is like a whole nother
Girl, all you have to do is say, hi, Hilary, and I will tell my story.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, I just got to tell everyone, you know, the moment that I met Hilary at one of these pop-ups, I mean, it was instant connection between me and her. It was, and we had, well, okay, I won't say anything more, but.
It meant a lot to me that you guys came, you know, you came so far. You made a point of showing up. I mean, that means a lot. And you know, I've done so many pop-ups because what I enjoy about the pop-ups is meeting all the people, meeting everyone. And it's just like, people will drive from so far because they don't have a lot of vegan options in their city or in their neighborhood. So it's like, that's the thing about vegans and the vegan community in the Bay Area. It's like, people show up, they're excited, they want to support you. And it's like, you get such a good feeling. It's just like, you know, it's just like, well, how many pop-ups can I possibly do? You know? And it was, you know, that's how you and your husband, you know, to drive that far and like support, it just meant so much.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So let's shift back to your business. So let's talk about, so you have right now, you know, you're not doing any pop-ups right now, but
right.
You are doing deliveries weekly.
Yeah.
You have so many deliveries in so many different areas.
Yes.
How do you, and this question really is for like people who also have small businesses, and this may help them. How do you stay organized?
Okay, I have learned that everyone has their own system. So I have a lot of friends who have, you know, do vegan food pop-ups or, you know, promote their food, not necessarily just restaurants, but I do know a lot of people in the industry and in the vegan community. And everyone has their own system. I have my own system. I am happy to share it. I really do try to be supportive of anyone who, like when I meet someone who I taste their food, or, you know, you have some kind of connection, I will get back to them and I will say, like, what can I do to help you? What can I do to support you? And just kind of open. And some people, it's just like, who are you? I don't know you. You know, like you don't get much of a response back. But other people, it's like, you know, appreciate it. And I've learned so much. It's been about 2 years now. So I've been doing this business about 2 years, and I've learned so much. You make mistakes, you know what I mean? So if anyone is interested, or if anyone needs any kind of help and assistance, it's out there. And I've asked, I've reached out to people, you know, on Instagram. I send them a message, you know, like things that I don't know, and people have helped me, and like, you know, friends of mine have helped me. So,
well, that's great.
So another thing that I'm adding to my list of things is I'm trying to do away with all single-use plastic. So here's my reusable straw, and
yeah, I have this hydro flask that I keep everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, now with the shelter in place, when you go get, you know, an iced tea or something, you can't have your reusable cup. You have to use their plastic cup. So it's kind of a bummer. But also, I just wanted to say that since the shelter in place, since this whole thing started, the whole reasoning behind starting the cupcake 4-pack deliveries was probably like a week into the shelter in place. I had a friend of mine who, she's single, and she was, you know, all by herself, and she was just like, oh, I'm kind of down, you know, this is a bummer, I miss people, you know, I don't know. And this was in the very beginning, and I thought, okay, when I hung up with her, I thought, I'm gonna make her a little 4-pack of cupcakes, and I'm gonna deliver it to her just to cheer her up. And then I thought, like, I bet like a lot of my other friends would want. So I started making a list of all the people that I would bring, and I was like, this is a long list. I mean, I have like a long list. So then I was thinking, maybe other people would feel the same way, or maybe people would want to send it as a gift or to cheer someone up that they know. And that's how it started. And I've been selling out every single week. And it's just, and people are so happy when they see I call it the electric cupcake mobile.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I always get like happy people, and, you know, no one is, has an attitude, you know what I mean? Everyone is like really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that whenever, you know, you post on your Instagram, hey, new flavors, I'm like, oh gosh, okay. All right. Send them to me.
Yeah. I just had one of my customers, she orders every single week. She just posted that, she's like, you have, I don't think I've ever had a flavor twice. And that's the fun part for me, is to try to come up with like new ways to decorate, or how much can I shove on a cupcake to make it like extra. And that's really the fun part for me, is the creative part, and, you know, meeting people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was going to ask you, so I have to tell you, one of my favorite flavors is when you have the fillings inside of them. Oh my God, so good. I mean, they're all so good, but those are my favorites. But how do you come up with the flavors? Like, what inspires you to come up with these different flavors?
I do, like, even when I cook and bake, or when I'm thinking of a menu, I try to take inspiration from what's in season. So I think about the fruits that are in season. You know, I mean, we still have fantastic frozen fruits and stuff that you could use, but that's where I try to get my inspiration. And I love cooking all types of food. Like, there's people say, like, what's your favorite, you know, thing to make? It's like, it really depends on the day. But yeah, the filling ones, those are, when I'm doing like 6 dozen cupcakes, it's a lot of work, like, because you got to hollow out each one, and you got to fill each one, and you know. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, those are really good, but sometimes I'm just like, ooh, Lord, I gotta, you know, make some other choices here, because it's like, it gets to be a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I saw on your Instagram, you were a guest on, let's get her name right, Jane Velez-Mitchell's Facebook Live. And so for those who don't know, she is, I mean, a huge activist for any social injustice, including animal welfare, right? And she's got a huge platform, multiple platforms. So tell us about that.
Oh, that was really fun. I don't know how long ago that was. I want to say it was maybe a year ago. And they invited me. So they had a correspondent in the city, and they asked if I would, you know, if they could come over and if I could do the demonstration on making the cupcakes. And it was really fun. We had a really good time. And the correspondent, she had never made cupcakes. There were a lot of things that she didn't know could be vegan, and so it was just really, it was a really fun experience. And yeah, she has a cooking show. It's on, is it on YouTube? It's on, I think you can look at it on YouTube and Netflix, and it's called I don't know that, but you can look it up. You can Google her, but she has like different guests. So it could be celebrities that are vegan, or vegan chefs, and they come on and they do like a quick, you know, put together a quick meal, not meal, but like a recipe. And and it's fun. It's all fun. You know, they like when the blender's going, they're all dancing, and
Yes.
it's quick. It's a quick show, but
Right.
it's needed. Like, do you know how many times I've written to Food Network begging for a vegan cooking show?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, it's time. So it's nice that that's there, because everyone that cooks, everyone that loves food is going to have some kind of tip that you didn't know about, or use some kind of product or food that you have never tried. So the more that we can get it out there, the more we'll all become better chefs, and our families will, just love us even more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I started this Sonnia Spotlight is it's not just tips with cooking, but tips with, how to live a vegan life. And there's so many different avenues that someone can take to live vegan, right? And
Yeah.
so I had mentioned on some of the other episodes that there's plant-based versus vegan, and plant-based is really just eating, no animal products. But vegan lifestyle is really taking it another step and being active towards the end of injustices towards animals. So
True.
I think that, having different guests on here, like yourself, giving the different tips and different perspectives would really help. Hopefully it resonates with someone out there.
Yeah, and I think that also vegan can be, there's like a spectrum too. Like, you have really hardcore vegans where it's like they won't sit on a leather chair, and then you have like the in between, and we're all learning. We're all learning what's best for us and what we feel comfortable with, and kind of knowing what we want to put out into the world. So it's like we need to be like kind to one another, because maybe you're at a different place than the next person.
Right.
But I also think that vegan is becoming aware of how things get to you. So food, but also I don't buy any leather, no leather shoes. Sometimes it's like, it takes me a while to find something, but they're out there. And it's just making that conscious effort to say, I don't want to be a part of any harm to any being. And I'm not going to pay for something that has hurt another living being. So even like, I don't use honey because, and the thing is like, you might think like, well, I see on the advertisements, I see happy cows from California. They look happy to me, but it's like, you have to do your due diligence. You need to, they're selling a product. So they're going to make it be as comfortable as possible for you to buy their product. But in reality, it is horrific. It is horrific. And there's a reason why we're not allowed to have footage inside of these industries, because I really believe if people saw and just the horror, they would make other choices, and they would lead with their hearts and go and make other choices, and then these industries are going to fail.
Right.
So that's my hope, because even though people say like, well, if we don't support the farms and the farmers, they're going to lose their job. But to me, it's like, you know what, you have an opportunity to go in a different direction. Like, you have all this information, you can grow other things. There's other options out there. So and I know change is hard for people, but in the big picture, it's like we have to do this. We have to spend our money where we're making a difference. It's just, and our lifestyles, like little changes. Sometimes people think if it's like, oh my God, like I could never do that. I could never live that way. It's too hard. But if you take it one small step at a time, and you just in the right direction, and you just are more mindful about how you're living and the choices you make, it really isn't that difficult, and together we can make a huge difference. You never know who is watching you and who's listening to you. And that's the thing too, because there have been times where I felt like really kind of down, like where it's like this is hard. Nobody's listening. Everyone's eating meat. You know, they don't want to give up their milk and their coffee. And this is hard. And then I'll get a message from a complete stranger saying, because of you, I haven't eaten meat in 30 days. And it just boosts me back up. And it's like, you know, people are always watching. People are always listening. And so I just try to keep that lead by example mentality.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so I wanted to also bring up the fact that you volunteer. So tell us a little bit more about what you do when you volunteer and where that's.
So I met some fantastic women and their husbands and families. I don't even know how long, maybe a year and a half ago. And it's the volunteer organization is called Project Ahimsa San Francisco. And we cook vegan food, and then we go out and we package up the food. And we also have, you know, like toothpaste and socks and comforters and, you know, other things that are needed, hygiene products. And we go into the encampments, and it's just such a positive experience. It's really something that we look forward to. Mm-hmm. And Maria Rojas, she and Marie Barrett, they started it, and they send a vegan recipe to everyone who's going to volunteer on the particular day, and we all make the same thing, and then we come together and we package it up together. And they have it all down. They have the system all down. But you know, that's another thing that I think people who are not familiar with the homeless brothers and sisters, they might feel like nervous or scared, or, you know what I mean? But it's like when you get out and you meet people, it's like they are so thankful, and it's families. It's like all walks of life, like, and it just is such a positive experience. Yeah. And if people want to get involved, they can look up on the Instagram, Ahimsa Project SF. And also, if you're not able to come and actually volunteer in person, you can always send donations of items that are needed, and it's just it's great. Awesome. I would really highly suggest people finding something that they can do together to do something good.
Yeah,
you know.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Hilary, you know, I've just got to tell people that Hilary is such a great, she has such a warm heart, and if you, you ever get a chance to meet her, I highly recommend it. I mean, she doesn't only deliver, you know, delicious cupcakes and cookies and brownies. She is a very sweet person with a very warm heart, and I'm so glad that you and I connected.
Me too.
So we're at the part where I call the Fave 5, where I ask you 5 of your favorite things. Ooh. And so the first one is, what is your favorite comfort food?
My favorite comfort food. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I love food. I love to cook it. I love to eat it. I love to serve it. And I love going out and enjoying it. Okay. But lately I am obsessed with, I encourage everyone in the Bay Area who can get there to go to Sabelle's on 9th between Irving and Judah, for their stuffed vegan garlic nuts. Ooh. And they are so good. Like the first time not just the first time, every time I've had them, I make these obscene food happy noises. And it's just like, it literally makes me so happy when I'm eating these. And I need to like slow it down.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And so my next question was going to be, what's your favorite restaurant? But I think you covered that.
Well, no, actually, you know what? I have so many restaurants. We are so in the Bay Area. And another thing is, like I said, I've traveled all over the world. I've traveled all over the country with my job, and I have been able to eat at some awesome restaurants. But I'm talking my favorite restaurants in the Bay Area. Okay. And 100% definitely Nick's on Grand, Sabelle's, Veganburg, Golden Era. That's on Golden Gate. let's see, Above Ground San Francisco, that just recently opened. Wild Seed is really good in San Francisco. For barbecue, have you been to Vegan Mob in Oakland?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I think he's trying to open one in San Francisco too. So, oh my goodness, that's gonna be great. I like Malibu Burgers. They're an open, they're a food truck, but they just raised money to open a brick and mortar, so that's exciting. And then I want to give shout out to some of the awesome vegan food vendors. So they don't have a restaurant, but they do deliveries and stuff. So we have Am Sabor, who I love so much, and I'm hoping that one day they open a restaurant, because their food is so good and it's so beautifully presented. It's just, I always recommend them. And then we have the Vegan Hood Chefs. I don't know if you've tried them, but they are in my neighborhood, in the Bayview neighborhood of San Francisco. And they could just open a restaurant here. It's so needed. And then of course with La Chancita, Vegan Alien. Who am I leaving out? Oh, Butcher's Son. Delicious. Oh my God. It's just last weekend I tried their jalapeno mozzarella sticks. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. They were so good. Okay. So anyway, I could go on and on. I hope I didn't forget anyone, but that just gives you an idea. Oh, Veg Hub. Oh, Chef Chu. He actually has some of his products in the freezer section at Whole Foods, which, yeah, he does meat products, meatless meat products. And
right. Yeah.
Those are good to get going. Oh, Sonnia. And then also I want to give a shout out to Rooted in Pleasant Hill, because of your suggestion, because of you telling me about them. I've reached out to them, and I'm going to be bringing them cupcakes Thursday, and pretty much I think I'll be ordering one of everything.
Yes.
So I definitely want to. Rooted in Pleasant Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of my favorite places. They are the only all vegan breakfast place here that I know of in Contra Costa. So I mean, not just because of that, I mean, but they deliver such great products too. I mean, their waffles are out of this world. I just, yeah, I'm like you. I could order one of everything there and be happy.
I really like to support. So I cook a lot at home, but then I also like to support other vegan businesses, and so it's nice to have this platform so you can learn in new places that, I have a car, I can drive out there, so I will be there on Thursday.
Perfect. Yes, I hope I can meet you. I do have some meetings, but I hope I can meet you out there. And so you travel everywhere. You said you work for Delta, and you're still working for Delta, correct? Or is it okay?
Well, with all the things that have happened and how it's affected the airlines, they have offered a retirement package. So I'm thinking, it may be time for me to hang up my wings. It's fine, because now I have this whole new passion of sharing food, and I'll still travel will always be a huge part of my life. Like, I love to travel. I love experience different cultures, and I love it. So.
And with that, what is do you have a favorite place that you visited?
Oh my goodness. Well, oh my goodness. See, Sonnia, these questions, I can just go on and on and on. Sorry, people, if I'm boring.
No.
Okay, so I want to say I was born and raised in San Francisco, and I would say one of my favorite places in the whole world is San Francisco. And I feel so lucky to live here. Like, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not just like, thank you. I feel so lucky. But then, there's so many places. I really couldn't, it's just, every place I've been has something special and unique about it. So it's hard to pick just one, but I do love Paris, and I do love Italy. Those are, I just could go on and on. So I'll just say San Francisco. It's my favorite place I visited. I'm lucky enough to live here. So
yeah, Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
You know, Bay Area is definitely a popular
Yeah.
answer amongst a lot of people to visit.
Oh,
I
yes.
feel lucky to live here as well. So
Oh my God, 100%. I mean, we just have it all. We have it all.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, you are so busy with all of your things that you do. What is your favorite form of self-care? Like when you're done with everything, what do you do to take care of Hillary?
okay. That's a good, I need to do more of this because I find that I want to like take care of everyone. You know, I want to check in on everyone, make sure everyone is happy, or what can I do to help you? And I am really busy with the business. It's since I started doing cakes, it's like I get, you know, I get inundated. But I will say that one thing that I want to work on is getting outside and having a nice walk every day with my dog. My dog Max, he's a rescued greyhound, and one of our favorite places is Golden Gate Park, and I just love it there. I love it. It brings back memories of when I was a kid, but it's just so beautiful, and they maintain it so well. And there's so many different parts. It's huge. It's a huge park, and so you know, I always try to mix it up for Max so he doesn't get bored. But I do like being outside, even if it's cold or rainy or windy. It's just like I like to get out and just enjoy the beauty.
Mhm.
And Golden Gate Park is, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it is, and it's such a simple thing, right? Just getting out there
Mhm.
and walking. It
Yeah.
is a form of self-care and it's so easy, but not a lot of people take the time to do that, including myself. I even
That's
have a reminder on my calendar and sometimes I just snooze it.
I know it is. It's hard. It's like a challenge because if you don't schedule it, and this is I'm speaking for myself, but if I don't schedule it, um, it's easy to put it last, put yourself last,
Yeah.
and I'm as guilty as the next person. And so it's just again like checking in with yourself and being more mindful. Like, hey, this feels good to me. This makes me happier. You know, this is a good thing to do. And who doesn't need a little fresh air? And
Right,
you
right, absolutely. And so my final question for the Fave Five to you is, do you have a favorite quote, saying, or words to live by?
woo, yes, I do, girl. My, but I have it up in my bedroom. It's a little girl with a cape. It says, "I am the hero of my own story."
Oh, I love that. Oh gosh, that's
And that
beautiful.
really simple, but it's true. It's like you really, no matter where you are in your life, you have the power to achieve what you want to achieve. You know, and you just have to get out there and pound the pavement and make it happen.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Hillary, gosh, thank you so much. I could talk to you forever. I know that I can.
Well,
And I
I,
thank you
I'm
so much.
I'm a talker.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. How can people support your journey?
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, the best way to reach me is, or the what I prefer is like through Instagram. So a lot of people ask what my flavors are, and so I'm always like, just scroll down, see what I have, because I'm always coming up with new stuff. So I don't really have a list.
Yeah.
And if you want to place an order, you can either order the cupcake deliveries, the 4 packs on every Saturday, or you can place a special order. And I also do cakes. So you can find that or contact me. And then I also have an email, deliciouslyvegansf at gmail.com. So either of those ways you can contact me.
Awesome. Thank you
And
so
you'll see me around. Like if when we do get to do pop-ups, definitely come out and support and come say hello.
much.
I love meeting people and hearing their stories. And if you're in San Francisco and you see a blonde lady walking a big former race dog, come say hello. Max would love to you know give you a big sniff.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so
Oh,
much,
he's
Hillary. Oh,
vegan as well.
what's that? Oh, he's
My
vegan as well.
as well, yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
healthy and doing great.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much again. Everyone, if you are in the Bay Area or going to be visiting the Bay Area, I highly recommend that you hit up Deliciously Vegan SF on Instagram and get your cupcakes delivered to you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. I
Thanks.
appreciate your time.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.